If this was any other person, they likely would have already served their sentence.
Gary Shapley was a lead IRS supervisory agent in Operation Sportsman, the investigation into Hunter Biden. Shapley said he uncovered conduct that warranted more serious charges.
There were personal expenses that were taken as business expenses. Prostitutes, sex club memberships, hotel rooms for purported drug dealers.
How much did Hunter Biden owe in taxes?
So from 2014 to 2019, it was $2.2 million.
To what extent has Vladimir Putin been weakened by recent events? It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq, clearly losing the war in Iraq, clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home, and he has become a bit of a pariah around the world. It's not just NATO, it's not just the European Union, it's Japan, it's 40 nations.
All right, guys, so that was Sleepy Joe Biden having a massive brain fart when asked about the alleged failed coup against Putin that happened over the weekend. Now, by the way, I want you guys to notice how the mainstream liberal media and the Democrat Party kind of reacted to this stuff, right? Because they told us for the longest time, ever since January 6th, they hate coups, okay? They hate insurrections, okay? Lo and behold, there's an alleged insurrection against Putin, and now all of a sudden these people are cheering on an insurrection, okay? They're cheering on coups. You know what's funny about this? These politicians have not learned a damn thing. They have not learned a damn thing from the war in Iraq, okay? Because, you know, Joe Biden, for whatever reason, thinks that Putin is fighting the war in Iraq. Classic Joe Biden brain malfunction moment, okay? I mean, this is common stuff. It's daily. But anyways, haven't learned a lesson in the sense that, yeah, it might sound like a good idea to overthrow a dictator, but you create a power vacuum, and the person that fills that power vacuum, or the group of people, or the terrorist organization that fills that power vacuum might not necessarily be better than the dictator that you took out. Again, haven't learned our lessons from the war in Iraq yet, so it seems. But hey, at least John Kerry, who's a part of the U.S. woke climate envoy, which is probably something that shouldn't even exist. But anyways, at least he's admitting the truth. He's saying the quiet part out loud about the Iraq war in a conversation with a French journalist on French television, where he says that, yeah, the premise for invading Iraq was based off a lie. Again, he was asked to compare the war in Ukraine to Iraq, right? What could it be compared? And this is kind of how that conversation went. With, again, the guy had to basically admit that, yes, the war in Iraq, while we invaded Iraq, was based off a lie. You'll never see this on American television. Take a look.
En Irak, et ces pays du Sud disent, mais est-ce qu'il faut juger George Bush? Pourquoi un George Bush n'est pas jugé de la même façon? Vous y seriez favorable?
No.
Non.
Pourquoi?
Because there's never even been
parce que
a direct process of
il n'y a pas eu d'accusation à l'encontre du président Bush. Alors s'il y avait eu des abus de pouvoir, oui. Moi, j'étais contre. J'ai fait la guerre du Vietnam, il y avait des abus, j'en ai parlé, et à la fin de la guerre, il y a eu...
Est-ce que ça n'était pas un crime d'agression d'entrer en Irak sur la base d'un mensonge?
No. Well, you didn't know it was a lie.
On ne savait pas que c'était un mensonge à l'époque. Tout ce qui a été produit à l'époque, on ne savait pas que c'était mensonger. Alors non, là encore, là vraiment...
Mais lui mentait.
Sir,
écoutez, je ne vais pas ouvrir le dossier de la guerre en Irak. On a passé beaucoup de temps là-dessus. Moi, à l'époque, j'étais contre la guerre. C'était une erreur. Mais les pouvoirs ont été donnés au président de faire cette guerre. C'était basé sur un mensonge. On a su que c'était un mensonge. On a fait ce qu'il fallait.
Je comprends ça, mais vous comprenez que pour les pays du Sud, bien sûr, ça, la justice, l'égalité, les principes, c'est leur impression, est à double standard.
Yo, it's just so funny to me when these state actors have to admit, okay, that the government is corrupt, right? I mean, this guy was asked, is it not a crime of transgression when we enter Iraq, right, based off a lie? John Kerry reflects, was like, no. Well, we didn't know it was a lie at the time, right? We didn't know it was a lie at the time. Sure, okay, sure you didn't know it was a lie at the time. Sure you didn't know that Saddam Hussein didn't actually have weapons of mass destruction. We allegedly have the best intelligence in the world, and the best intelligence in the world from the United States got it wrong. Got something so wrong that it led to a war that cost trillions of dollars and thousands of American lives, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives in the Middle East. Well, we didn't know it was a lie at the time, right? Amazing. Again, that says a whole lot about our intelligence community if they got it wrong. But they didn't get it wrong. They just lied because they are corrupt, okay? In my opinion, I personally believe that the Iraq War, okay, is just a continuation of the first Bush's Persian Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm, in which, you know, hey, the Bushes had a bone to pick with Saddam Hussein because Saddam decided to invade Kuwait in order to get access to their oil fields. And the United States didn't like that, okay? And a whole bunch of other countries as well, too. Didn't like the fact that Saddam had the cojones to invade Kuwait, right? They saw Saddam as a loose cannon who they had to eventually get rid of because, hey, we couldn't control him enough, okay? We couldn't control him enough. They naively believed, or, I mean, I'm not sure if they actually believed this, right? But they told the American people that, hey, Iraqi citizens, these Middle Easterners, they want American-style democracy. They want to be like us, right? Completely misunderstanding the religious political dynamic at the time in the Middle East, okay? Which, again, is something we dealt with in Afghanistan. We dealt with it in Iraq. We just all around messed up, right? But again, it was based off a lie, right? Based off a lie and I think personal beefs. But, you know, hey, that's just me. So, speaking of corruption, okay, we still have a massive amount of corruption in this country, particularly in the Biden administration, okay? Because allegedly, this guy has weaponized the DOJ to not just go after political opponents, including the former president of the United States, Trump. He's also used the DOJ to protect his son, Hunter, okay, who, you know, was under investigation by the IRS, okay, for serious charges or serious accusations of tax evasion, felonies, okay, that would have sent somebody like Wesley Snipes to prison. No. The DOJ interfered, allegedly, according to the Republicans in Congress, they interfered to have the investigation slow walked and for Hunter Biden ultimately to get a slap on the wrist, which resulted into misdemeanors, okay, which he will serve no jail time for, okay, because you can't lock up the president's son, okay, but you can lock up the former president of the United States, can't lock up the current president's son. Amazing. Also, what we learned doing these bombshell GOP revelations is that Hunter Biden, in a text message exchange with Chinese officials, right, he's trying to shake them down for like $10 million apparently. He admitted that, hey, my father's in the room, right? My father is in the room, okay? Basically a direct contradiction to what Joe Biden claimed on the campaign trail, which is that he never talked to his son about his business dealings, right? Joe Biden is not the big guy, right? He didn't get 10% or whatever the hell Hunter Biden was getting, okay? But Joe Biden was actually asked about this because the mainstream liberal media, because of the undeniable evidence from the GOP, is actually pressing the Biden administration on these allegations. And Joe Biden actually snapped when asked about it on the White House lawn. Take a look.
Mr. Biden, how involved were you in your son's Chinese shakedown text message? Were you sitting there? Were you involved?
No, I wasn't. And I don't know.
Were you?
No.
No, right? That is how Joe Biden responded after he was asked about this. Again, the guy seems very cranky for something he allegedly had nothing to do with, okay? And cue the mainstream liberal media, okay, coming up here and saying that, well, Biden snapped because of his love for his son, right? This is a father-son love story. Again, it's amazing. Does Biden love his son more than he loved his country, right? I think that's a legitimate question because you're a president of the United States. I'm just saying, I'm not sure if you should put your family over the country because, again, you did sign up to be a public servant. I think there are questions about who are you more loyal to? Are you more loyal to your family and their crime, or are you more loyal to this country? I think that's a legitimate conversation to be had. So with that being said, we have more bombshell text messages that have dropped, okay, involving the Biden crime family business dealings. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, these people think that they're actually a criminal like syndicate, right? They think they're a gang, right? They really do. That is the way these text messages sound from Hunter Biden that I want to laugh at and talk about. But it's really not a funny situation, because in a sane country, Biden would be locked up, right? He'd be thrown in prison. He'd be put on trial for basically selling out the American people. So I want to react to Maria Bartiromo, who, you know, shout out to Maria Bartiromo, right? She's one of the very few good Fox News journalists left. She's going to talk about these new bombshell text messages, and I want to react to it. So let's get into it.
The House Oversight Committee releasing more WhatsApp messages sent by Hunter Biden, this time to a Chinese energy company associate. This is CEFC. In 2017, Hunter Biden writes this: $10 million per annum budget to use to further the interest of the joint venture. This move to $5 million is completely new to me and is not acceptable, obviously. I can make $5 million in salary at any law firm in America. The Bidens are the best I know at doing exactly what the chairman wants from this partnership.
Wow. Wow. This guy, Hunter Biden, thinks he's a gangster, right? He thinks he's a gangster. He thinks he's an OG, which, I mean, no surprise. I mean, the guy uses the N-word. Allegedly, he uses the N-word in personal text messages with his lawyer. So I think he thinks he's black, okay? You know, but this guy said, nah, bro, $5 million is not acceptable to me, okay? The Bidens are the best I know at doing exactly what the chairman wants from this partnership. The Bidens, okay? The Biden crime family is the best, okay? The best at what? Right? That's the question. What are they the best at? Selling out America, right? Selling out this country, influence peddling, using government offices in order to do favors, make policy decisions in exchange for money, policy decisions that could hurt this country. Yeah, the Bidens are the best at that. They're telling you in a text message, we're the best at selling out. Boy, amazing. Okay, this guy, Hunter Biden, is a character. He really is a character.
He writes, this is the New York Times waited until the 21st paragraph of a piece today to even acknowledge the mishandling of the Hunter Biden investigation. The New York Post editorial board writing this: freeze Hunter's plea deal until we know which prosecutors lied to save him.
Facts. Facts. We need to freeze that plea deal because we know that it's politically motivated. Okay, we know that there was interference, that this is not justice, okay? This is corruption, which is hilarious to me because, again, if this was any other situation, right, Democrats and liberals would be crying white privilege, right? I'm surprised we have not heard any white privilege accusation, okay, that was levied against Hunter Biden in this situation and why he's getting off, right? Why is he getting a slap on the wrist when so-called people of color would not get a slap on the wrist? Well, I mean, this isn't really even a race thing. Anybody who's not Hunter Biden, okay, or extremely politically connected would not have got a slap on the wrist like this. I'm just saying, usually in situations like this, if the white man is getting off, they would cry white privilege. But crickets, right, when it comes to Hunter Biden. Amazing.
Joining me right now is Tennessee Congressman David Kustoff. He's a member of the House Ways and Means Committee and the only former U.S. attorney left in the House of Representatives. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Your committee found all of this and released these WhatsApp messages. Can you tell us what the committee found?
Yeah, well, first of all, Maria, thank you for having me on this morning. I do wonder that plea agreement was announced, I think, Tuesday of last week. We had our hearing in the Ways and Means Committee to decide whether to release these transcripts from the two whistleblowers 2 days after the plea agreement. And I think that if the nation knew about these transcripts, the testimony from the two IRS whistleblowers before the plea agreement never would have been agreed to. That's the first thing. But the statements that the whistleblowers made, remember, these whistleblowers, their livelihood is working for the Internal Revenue Service. So they came forward at great peril and great liability to their jobs and their abilities to provide for their families. They came forward because they saw the misapplication of justice and frankly, a two-tiered system as it relates to the Bidens versus anybody else.
Facts. Facts. Again, a two-tiered system that the woke revolutionaries almost burned the country down over, right? That's what they was arguing about. Well, the criminal justice system is corrupt. Police are corrupt. Everything's corrupt. We're going to burn it down, right? We're going to burn everything down. Crickets over what's happened to Hunter Biden, right? All of a sudden, the two-tier justice system is just, right? It's just for to protect the Bidens.
The allegations, the WhatsApp messages that you just showed, the other WhatsApp message, everything that the whistleblowers talked about, if that had been anybody other than Hunter Biden or Joe Biden, stick anybody's name on there, they would have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Well, this is just stunning, Congressman. It really is. And I don't understand how the DOJ can explain away investigating tax evasion on income without actually investigating the income of where this money came from. I mean, he's asking for $10 million here, $5 million there for all of these foreign nationals. What were they paying for? Did Joe Biden make policy decisions in China's favor to be paid?
Well, first of all, consider Hunter and whatever talents and abilities to affect his father or affect government. They were essentially paying for influence peddling. I mean, that's the bottom line, because Hunter Biden has no other talents, no other abilities other than to touch his father and other people within the government.
Yo, this dude said Hunter Biden has no other talents or abilities other than to touch his father and people in the government. Yeah, again, I got questions about that too, because Hunter Biden's claiming in his text message, I can make $5 million a year anywhere in America, any law firm. Why is he not doing that now? Right? That's what I don't understand. Why are you not doing that now? I think Hunter Biden, last time I checked, his employment was self-employed. He's a painter, right? He's the new Picasso, okay? He's definitely not working in a law firm making $5 million a year. Again, this is just, the corruption's in your face. It's stunning.
And when you go through the testimony of the two whistleblowers, and one of them talked about that there's at least $2.2 million in unpaid taxes that they were looking at.
Right.
I can tell you, any U.S. attorney's office in the country would have brought serious tax charges as it relates to that. So it's deeply concerning to me as a former federal prosecutor. I think it should be obviously very concerning to any American. So when I have my constituents or people that come on your program, everyday Americans, that say, you know, if it were me and the same allegations were made, I would be handled differently. That's a real concern.
Yeah, exactly. And also on top of that, Biden always talking about how the rich need to pay their fair share, right? Except his son, right? Except the Bidens. They don't need to pay their fair share, right? Everybody else, me, you, okay, middle class, we need to pay our fair share, okay? Because that's what they mean by tax the rich. They actually mean tax the middle class. Okay, that's actually what they really mean. Yeah, you got to pay your fair share, but his son, no. He don't need to pay his fair share, right? Again, it's just, the hypocrisy is amazing. It really is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.